Hi creatives, greetings from my end, Dimma here, and on today's tutorial I'll be sharing with you how I made this beautiful gown that you can see on the screen. It's a box fitted gown, like a sort of inverted triangle in the front of it. You can see how beautiful the sleeves are also. If this sounds like what you've been interested in knowing how I put it together, the cutting and the sewing process is in this video, then if you've been interested in it, then come with me as I show you every bit of the step I took in making this lovely gown. Right here, I have my pattern already drafted. The front and the back pattern is here. If you are not familiar with the drafting of this basic pattern, I'll be linking it up in the description box so that you can look at it and be very clear with what I did. So here I'm just trying to mark the triangle. I just had to go up from that point by about 4 inches, 3.5, 4 inches, and I am drawing a horizontal line there. What I want to do is just to draw the triangle, okay? So watch closely so that you see what I did. I came in here by 1.5 inches. Yes, I came in there by 1.5 inches, and I came down from my waistline by about 6 inches. I'll be connecting those 2 points to form the inverted triangle. I hope this is clear. You can see the inverted triangle already drafted. I'm just trying to put a sort of arrow along the corners of the triangle. I will leave it till I will need it. This is how I will leave it on this pattern till when I will need it. Okay? Now these are the fabrics I'll be using. One is the lining. This is the fabric, about 4 yards. And here is the lining that I will be using for this very project. Okay, so I will be folding the fabric. Watch closely to see how I'll be folding the fabric to cut out the front pattern. So I just place the fabric on fold normally along the length. You can see how I folded it already. The servage is up and down of my fold, just the normal way you fold your ankara fabric. Okay, I just ensured that the pattern of the angular stuff on the fabric is just the way I want it. Feel free to place your pattern the way you will want your design on the fabric to fall on the dress. Okay, so that is what I just did here. I ensured that the pattern on the fabric is just exactly the way I will want it to appear on the finished dress. This is also very important, as it can make a dress even more beautiful if you place it very well. Here I am trying to come out by about 3/4 inch on all the sides, but before I did that for the waistline, I want to remove my dart because I added that to the waist measurement of this pattern. So I just came in by 1 inch, and I'll be connecting these to the side and also connect towards the hip. I hope you understand, just as you can see me do. Beautiful. So after connecting it like this, I just shaded the part that will be going off. I am cutting that part off. So that is just it. After cutting it off, I will continue with the measurement of my 3/4 inch. So this is what I have going on here. I'm measuring 3/4 inch all through, and this is just the ease of the dress. It's not the sewing allowance, please. It's just the ease. You know, I said it's a box fitted dress. It's not a dress that should be on the body, like hugging the body. So it's box fitted. It will be fitted but not very closely fitted. That is the meaning of box split. So what I'm doing here now is to cut out. Right now I'm adding my allowance. You can see the allowance I added is different from the ease that I added earlier. I just added my sewing allowance all through, 1/2 inch every other side, but about 1.5 inches for the side. But every other part is about 1/2 inch. That is what I used. On the armhole, on the neckline and down is 1/2 inch, but on this side I used 1.5 inches. So I'm just going ahead to mark my darts. That is what I am notching here. That is the dart line, okay? Because I'll be putting that side bust dart on this pattern. I want it to just have a look that you'll be wondering, oh, why is this dress so fitted? Or just watch closely and you will understand every bit of what I did, and trust me that you will like this dressmaking or method that I used to make this bust fitted dress. So here I have my back pattern. I'm also going ahead to remove the dart measurement just as I did in front. I've already used part of it to do the back tightening, and I am going ahead to remove the remaining part at the side. Please, I repeat again, if you're not familiar with basic pattern making, I will be linking it up in the description box. Maybe you want to see it so that you will get very clear with this video. I had to just limit it to where I have finished making this pattern so that this video will not be too long, because it's already long actually. So I had to remove that part. Now I have trimmed off the dart excess, and I will pin my pattern just as you can see me do, and I will go ahead and cut it out. Here I am also trying to get the box fit. I'm just adding 3/4 inch all around the pattern. That is the ease, is not the sewing allowance. The same thing I did in front is what I just did, just on the side back. Please, you don't add it to your zipper allowance, just on the side back. And I'm going ahead to cut. Every other allowance on this pattern is 1/2 inch, apart from the one by the side. The one I'm adding now is approximately 1.5 inches, and on my zipper allowance is about 1.5 inches also. I hope you understand. Now I am cutting my zipper allowance. I like notching. That's why I'm not like very keen to measure what my allowances are, because I'm going to notch. The notch will show me where my allowance is. Okay, so I'm here marking where my allowances are, and I will go ahead and notch these points. This is very important to me, and I don't miss it. Watch where I'm notching this one. You will know that I did not notch it where I added my ease, but where my allowance started. I hope you understand. I even went ahead to notch my waistline. This is for the back pattern. Beautiful. This is lovely. So here I will go ahead to cut the gathered parts on the dress, the lower part of the dress. The length of the upper side is about 37 inches, and the length of the full gown is about 61 inches. So what you do simply to get the length of the gathered fabric is just 61 minus 37. That is all. Whatever you get, depending on your own length, is what the remaining length will be, and that will be for the gathered part. Now for the fullness of the gather, just try and measure. You measure your hip line, remove about 4 inches from your hip. Whatever you get, multiply it by 2 or 2.5 or 3, depending on how full you want it to be. Okay, you multiply it like that, and then that is what the fullness of the gather will be. But mine, for this very project, I multiplied my hip measurement by about 2 inches. Just my hip measurement times 2. Then I measured the length that is remaining for the gown for the length. Okay, I hope you understand. And this is what I have. I divided these measurements, assuming your hip measurement is 40, multiply it by 2, that is 80. Okay, I hope you understand. Multiply it by 2, that is 80. Just divide that 80 into 2, so that 40 will be for the front gather and 80 will be for the back gather. I hope you understand. So here I'm cutting out the inverted triangle, because I want to cut out the pattern. I'm already done with the front pattern, and that is why I'm going ahead to slash out the front part of this project. Okay, that is the front part of this inverted triangle. So that is what I did here, and I will go ahead and cut it out on this sequin fabric. This sequin fabric, as you can see, is actually see-through. It's actually see-through. I will be using another fabric to blind it off. I'm cutting it out with about 1/2 inch on all sides. Watch closely to see what I'm doing. Having cut it out, this is what I have. Beautiful. I'll go ahead and cut out what I'll be using for the blind. So I fold it as you can see me do, and I'll place the sequin triangle on it, inverted triangle on it, and I'll be cutting it out. And that is all. So I'll just ensure that I notch where my dart is supposed to be, because if you watch closely you will notice that the dart entered that pattern, but I will explain further when I get to that. Now this is my lining and I'm cutting it out exactly as you can see. I cut the lining exactly as the fabric, and yeah, that is what I'm doing here. Cut it out exactly as the fabric. I also went ahead to cut the back side and even the lower gathered part. I cut lining for it, but it's not as long as that part, but of course it's as wide as it is. Okay, so here is my back pattern. I will also cut the lining. I also cut the lining of the gathered part, but not as long. Okay, the lining will not be as long as the back side, as the down side, the gathered parts. I hope you understand. So I'm going ahead to also put my notches so that putting this close together will not be a problem. So having done this, I will be putting it together. You can see my front and back pattern, and you can also see my gathered part, the lower part of the gown, and the lining also. Yeah, I'll go ahead and put hairstay on it and fix every other thing I'm supposed to do, just as you can see here. See how I applied my hairstay on this, okay, to around the waistline. I also did the same for the front part. I also added to the neck sort of a gum stay to the neck to make the neck to have a little bit of thickness. I did that for the front and the back lining. The neck gum stay at the neck is only on the lining. Hairstay is on the fabric and it covers till the waist. This is the design, and I also applied hairstay on it. I hope you understand. I'll be placing my lace like this and I'll be joining it together. Now I've gone ahead to join my neckline. That is the neckline of this dress, and I have top stitched also. This is the back part. It doesn't have a dart. You can see that I've also stitched the darts for the side. You can see how beautiful it's looking. I've stitched for the lining as well. You can see I'm here showing you the back, and here are how I stopped the dart 1 inch to the bust point. And this is the neckline, neatly finished and ironed. Now this is the front part. I will be applying the design to this front part. Watch closely to see what I'm doing. I'm here measuring to ensure that this placement is where it is supposed to be. I'm marking the point I will take my dart. I measured this dart on the pattern, and the side that entered this pattern is about 3/8 inch. I hope you understand. So that is where what I'm going to take on that chalk mark. See how I've taken it, and I ensured that it also stopped 1 inch to the bust point, if you understand what I mean. Okay, it stops where the dart on the dress proper stopped. This is to strike a balance between the dress and the design on it. Nothing will make the bust not to be, well balanced the way I want it to be. Here I am just tucking in about 1/2 inch and I am pinning it down. Okay, I'm tucking in about 1/2 inch and I'm pinning it down. So I've pinned it down all through and I have gone ahead to stitch it down. Note that I stitched it only on the fabric. This stitching is not touching the lining. Here I am marking the pocket point. I marked my waistline and I came down by about 6 inches and then marked. This is for the pocket entry. 2 inches down from the waistline and then 6 inches down further to create the pocket entry. I will do the same for the back. and then I will go ahead and stitch it. The lining piece will not have any pocket opening. It's only on the fabric. The lining will be closed up completely. You can notice that I am joining this lining to lining and fabric to fabric. Here you can see that I have created my pocket N3 by the side of this gown. So just watch closely and you will see when I will add my pockets to this project. Okay, this is how the gown is turning out. I will go ahead and close up the dress on the back. Okay, I will just close up from where the zipper will end till the down side. I will also do the same for the lining. I'm joining this separately. I did not join any together. Now I'm going ahead to join my gathered side to the knee line of this dress. I hope you understand. I'll join the fabric to the fabric and the lining gather to the lining, knee. I hope you understand. Fabric knee to fabric, lower side, which is the gathered part, and then lining to lining. So that is how I'm going to join this, and this is my dress. Before I go further to join the lower part, I just dim the feet to put the pockets, because this will make the dress not to be too bulky. Okay, I wanted to at first join the gathered part. Of course, you can still join the pocket, put the pocket after that, but I felt it will make the dress heavy at that point, and it is better to add the pocket before joining the gather. Now this is my pocket. To create your pocket, this is the slanty way it is going to look. In many projects here, I have done pockets. Just measure your around hand. Whatever it gives you, add 2 inches to it, and that is add 1 inch or 1.5 inches to it, and that will create this side of the pocket. That is the pocket N3. Okay, so that your hand will enter smoothly. Okay, if your round hand is 10, divide it by 2, which is 5. Just add 1.5 to 2 inches to it, which will be 6.5 or 7. That will be the measurement of this pocket N3. Okay, and then you measure the length of your arm, just as I'm doing now, and also use it to ensure that you get the depth of your pocket. If the length of your arm, your hand is about, let's say 8 inches, just make your depth, the pocket depth, about 9 inches or 10 inches. Okay, so I'll go ahead and fix my pocket. I'll be fixing this pocket just as you can see me do on the allowance of this dress. That is where I'll be fixing the pocket. Okay, start from where I marked and fix the pocket down. Also do the same for the other side. Now after fixing the pockets, we now go ahead to fix the down part. You can see how the pocket is looking. Of course, the lining is going to cover all this. I hope you understand. So having fixed the pocket, the next thing I will go ahead and do is to take care of the remaining parts of this project, which includes the zipper, the sleeve, and the gathered lower parts of this gown. I hope you understand. So right here, this is what I have so far. You can see how beautiful it's looking. You can see the pockets. You can see every other part and how I joined it lining to lining and fabric to fabric. Watch closely and you will understand everything that I am doing. So this is it. Here I am marking where I am going to close. Okay, I just marked where my hip line is and I'll be closing it to the down side. Lining to lining, fabric to fabric. Now I'll join my lining like so, and I'll also join my fabric. Now this is what I did. I want to go ahead and put my zipper before I add, of course, the gather. That is how it works. In sewing, you just stitch according to how it will make the whole process easy and swift for you, following techniques and the easier method. I try to fix most things when the fabric or the dress is not yet very heavy. Okay, I have closed up there. I can fix my zipper later, of course. I just closed up that, lower part. At this point, you can fix your zipper before joining this gather. It's just fine. In fact, I feel it's the best. Though I added my gather before I did the zipper. But it's easier because at that point, the dress is not yet too full or heavy. But I've added my gather. I joined it lining to lining and fabric to fabric again. Remember that my zipper space is still intact, and now is when I want to fix my zipper. But feel free to fix your zipper even before you add the gathered part. It's still fine. Okay, right now I will also be fixing my zipper lining to lining. In fact, my zipper will be between the fabric and the lining pieces. I hope you understand. This is my zipper allowance, and I'll be pinning my zipper along that part and sewing it down. Watch closely to see what I have. I have stitched it on the fabric alone. Can you see that? I've stitched it on the fabric alone, and I'll go ahead and place the upper part of the zipper like so and turn over the lining on it and then stitch down the lining on it. I hope you understand. This is what I have. I will put in my zipper and stitch down the lining like so. Like so. I hope you get it. So I will stitch it down, and this is what I have. So clean, so neat. See the inside how neat it is looking. Everything is seamless and fine. Very, very neat. Okay, so at this point, what is remaining is definitely the sleeve. You can see how balanced this design is. It just follows the darts and everything. It's just remaining to hem the downside and put my sleeves. So the next project now will be the sleeve. I ensure that I put everything in this video, and that is why it's a bit long. So here I have my sleeve pattern. Watch closely to see what I'm doing. I'm going to go ahead and draft the small sleeve on it. You know that the sleeve did not cover the armpit completely, the lower side of the armhole. So here I measured about 3.5 inches all through. Be watchful. If I take it this way, it's not going to give me what I want. So I just went ahead to measure 3.5 inches all through, just to get a curve like so. And after that, I will, manipulate the sleeve further just to get exactly what I want. Here I just marked about 1.5 to 2 inches where the sleeve will be ending because it did not cover under the armpits. So I'm cutting my sleeve out. I hope you understand. Now this is what I have. This is the cap and that is the hem. I am drawing slash lines that I will use to, put the gather on this. I noticed that that place is very sharp and it will not give me what I want for the sleeve. I'm going ahead to trim off that sharp corner. Yes, and this is what I have. This is what I'll be using to, add the gather. I'm cutting open the slash lines. Beautiful. Cutting open the slash lines to get a beautiful gathered sleeve, more like cap gathered sleeve. And yes, this is what I have. I spread it by 1 inch. The spread there is about 1 inch. And I gave 1/2 inch sewing allowance all through. And this is what I have. I'll go ahead and cut another one. I marked the reverse part of the fabric so that I won't get to be looking for the back side. I cut the second sleeve and I'll go ahead to cut the lining. The lining pieces is also this fabric. I did self lining on this sleeve or self facing. I'll go ahead and apply my hairstay to the sleeve to give it weight and a little bit of texture, extra texture and structure too. So this is how I apply my hairstay. I placed it just as you can see and applied little heat on it with my iron, and all of them were stick to the hairstay like so, and I used my scissors to cut them out. I'll trim them properly and iron it smoothly to lie very flat and smooth. Then after that, I will go ahead and join my sleeve. Here I have joined the hem of the sleeve as you can see, and I also top stitched. This is how I joined it, and I also top stitched. The next thing I'll do is to cover those two open parts, and yes, that is how I got my sleeve to look this way. Now I will be adding this sleeve to the gown. I hope you understand. So this is how I am going to add it. This is what I have, and that is the remaining part of the sleeve. I just measured what I took out from the sleeve. That is what I did, so that I'll know where I will start the sleeve from. You remember that I trimmed out about 2 inches from the sleeve. That is what I just marked from that armhole part to know where I will start my sleeve. So after fixing the sleeve, this is what I will have. I'll just go ahead and close up that lower side so that the sleeve will look neat and flat and well finished, and I will go ahead to iron. This is how beautiful the outcome of my dress is. Inside and outside is so neat and lovely. In fact, you can even wear the inside part of this dress, trust me, in place of the outside. Okay, this is what I have, guys. If you enjoyed this tutorial, don't fail to react. Tell me what you think. React, like, comment, subscribe, and turn on your notification bell so that you will be the first to know each time I upload, of course. Thank you for always stopping by to watch my video. I appreciate you all. I don't take it for granted. Thanks for always supporting my brand, and I want to say at this point that I love you all, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.